Good morning, everybody. Firstly, I'd like to thank LINX for their hospitality last night. It was a great evening, and I'm sure a good send-off for John into his next adventure. My name's Michael. I may have seen some of you when the event was held in Cardiff in the summer. I'm from Welsh Government, and specifically from Economic Infrastructure Division within Welsh Government. I'm here to talk to you about the developments and opportunities that we're hoping to bring on board for peered members, existing elsewhere, and maybe new members as it relates to Cardiff. I wasn't involved in the original establishment and launch of the IX in Cardiff, which LINX did in collaboration with Cardiff City Council. But I was asked about a year ago to get involved from Welsh Government perspective to help to see how we might reinvigorate the fortunes of what goes on there. As I mentioned, I'm part of the Economic Infrastructure Division. As a broad and quite substantial division of government, we have responsibility for property, land, rail networks, road networks. We own the airport in Cardiff, but specifically I'm from the Digital Infrastructure Division. We have a responsibility for telecoms and relationship with Ofcom in Wales, and what we seek to try and do is put initiatives in place to bridge gaps left by the marketplace, and that's something that Wales specifically had suffered from. Ironic that we follow Brazil, because Wales tends to be the benchmark of size and scale of deforestation in parts of the world that suffer these things. But what we've tried to do in Wales is meet some pretty demanding topographical issues in the past. As a division, we've delivered Superfast Cymru and a number of other programmes that you'll see beneath there, which I'll touch on very briefly. Of relevance, though, moving forward would be our trunk road and major motorway concession programme that we're going to be launching very soon to try and open up fresh dark fibre routes across Wales at very competitive rates for organisations that might be interested in that. Since the launch and inception of the IX in Cardiff, there's been quite a significant change to the digital landscape in Wales. We have connected through the Superfast Cymru programme near 750,000 programmes to superfast speeds, which previously didn't have access to broadband, and that opens up a broad customer base and improvements to the citizens of Wales. There's also now some very significant industry players in South Wales that we think might be relevant to members here as well. And digital economy as a whole, across all sectors, has now become a very key focus for our ministers. And being a devolved administration means that we have the ability to put resources and budget against things that aren't necessarily dictated by Westminster, but meet against our own strategies and policies. In an attempt to show that we are taking the IX presence in Wales very seriously, we have very recently peered our own PSBA network, hence the blue lanyard and no longer a guest. We are now members as a government. Our PSBA, or Public Sector Broadband Aggregation Programme, provides connectivity to all of the organisations that you'll see here, and that's a managed network that we provide and operate as Welsh Government, connecting in excess of 1 million users probably on a daily basis. And when you consider the population of Wales is in the order of 3 million, if you're a service provider, a content provider, and maybe some of these organisations would represent interest to you, then we have the network that will connect you to these types of organisations. Now, we've worked very closely with LINX over the last 12 months to try and see how we might improve the situation with Cardiff. And I think it would not be unfair to say that its location has not necessarily been attractive to a great many members. And we sought to try and improve that, and have worked very closely under a market research activity and with LINX to try and identify what has now been agreed as the site for a second node for the Cardiff IX. This is going to be hosted at Next Generation Data, which is a hyper-scalable, massive data centre facility that's just on the outskirts of between Cardiff and Newport. It's been established since 2007. It's seeing 40% growth year on year. It's carrier neutral and a significant player in the data centre market. It is the largest data centre in Europe. It looks like a relatively small box there, but trust me, you can turn 5 747s around on its footprint. It is an enormous facility, as I said, hyper-scalable at that. We've worked closely with LINX. We now have an endorsed scheme. As of last week, I had final sign-off from my Minister for Economy and Transport for a fund that will essentially allow us, come New Year, to work with the membership here to see how we might improve peering membership there. Essentially, in short, what I'm saying is, for up to a 3-year period, we'll be able to cover the costs of installation, connectivity, cross-connect, rack space rental and power for anybody that might be interested in joining the community that's in Cardiff. To tell you a little bit more about NGD, It is a 50-acre campus at the cost of about £150 million. I know everybody doesn't get necessarily excited about data centres, but they're enormously proud of what they've achieved there. It is genuinely a unique facility in our part of the world. It has a number of blue chip partners already that we are allowed to share with you as an audience, and others obviously that maybe keep their presence a little less known. So it is a well-regarded facility. In addition to that, there's a number of secure connections that operate in and out. There's diverse routing in and out of the site. In addition to some of the carriers that you'll see there as well, NGD themselves have access to private fibre that run through a diverse route underneath the old Severn Tunnel. Most of these will come across the new Severn Bridge crossing, but there's also diverse routing, which for those of you that might have presence in the Bradley-Stoke district of Bristol, we've got private fibre that runs to that location as well. They also, which I think may be relevant to some people, have an Azure platform site, facility there, which we're obviously keen to see if we can encourage membership and peering with those of you that may be LINX members elsewhere. Again, data centres, they get very excited about things, but one of the things that makes this centre quite unique actually is their power facility. They are directly connected to the supergrid. They have failover and facilities to help support it being able to be resilient to all manner of different threats. But I'm sure more information for anybody that might be interested. If you want to grab me or speak to LINX later, then we'll be able to share this as well. In short, my motivations here are not making money. I work for Welsh Government. I'm seeking to try and improve the digital landscape with the assets and resources we have available to us. We'd like to talk to as many members as possible about improving the membership in Cardiff. We have already directly connected the existing site at Stadium House in Cardiff City Centre to this site. So for the members that are already maybe based there, they'll be able to benefit from additional opportunities moving forward. I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Michael. Anyone got any questions at all? Oh, a couple down here.
Rob Golding, a Stadium. Does this mean the infra-via sale of the building to Legal & General has happened or has collapsed?
Sorry, could you say that again?
Infra-via, the people that bought the building, weren't they supposed to be selling it to Legal & General?
No. As far as I'm aware, it's still very much under ownership of the organisations that have been financing it to date.
Okay. All right. That wasn't my understanding from about 4 weeks ago when it was still on for sale lists.
Okay. I do have a colleague from NGD who'll be joining us within the next hour or so, so if you wanted to talk to him directly, you'd be very welcome to.
That we're getting NGD up and running. What are you doing about the real challenge of digital in Wales? So skills, education, the things that are going to make this location attractive. Because frankly, without that, this is just a cost that eventually won't be bearable for us. But, you know, we need to figure out how the universities are churning out engineers and content developers and making Wales the kind of, you know, the tech powerhouse for this to be valuable. And I just wonder what Welsh Government's doing on that.
Absolutely. Okay. So yes, skills is an ongoing issue. I think we see that in Wales as much as you do elsewhere. A report I read very recently cited Wales as being the second fastest digital economy outside of London, with growth in the order of about 9% north of that. We have some fantastic facilities amongst our academic institutions in Wales, Cardiff and Swansea most notably amongst a number of them. Skills is an ongoing issue. We are seeing a significant proportion of IT and related industry and digital grads wishing to return to Wales, which is obviously very encouraging, and growth in that sector as well. Turnover of digital tech companies in Wales has grown to in excess of 1 billion, employees in excess of 3,500 companies with about 45,000 members of staff at the moment, and it is only growing. It's kind of a chicken and egg thing. From a government perspective, we're keen to see the infrastructure be available to help develop both the sectors and the skill sets. There is a shortage of skills amongst network engineers. We're seeking to try and improve that. the types of support that LINX provide for training as well is something we're looking to tap into too.
And we've got, I think you know, 3 big facilities in Wales, and it's really challenging to recruit into them. And actually, we've got people moving from Bristol to into Wales. So, you know, I think unless you put as much focus into that, this looks really challenging from our point of view.
Absolutely, and very recently, I was at the launch about 6 weeks ago. Our Minister for Economy and Transport, Ken Skates, has over the last 6 months commissioned a specific body of work called the Brown Report. Professor Brown has put forward a report to government around digital economy, focus on sectors, focus on skills and growth. We're waiting really now with the working in government at the moment is not always the funnest of times with Brexit and everything else that's going on, and now a general election. But we are looking to focus on where Welsh Government can make its attention and resources matter.
And I think there's some organisations here that would be, you know, happy to help work with you on that. That would be much more valuable for Wales and the economy of Wales than a couple of switches and a few.
Absolutely, and we'd be very, very keen to speak to them. I think one of the things that will make a big difference, is already showing as well, is the abolition of the tolls on the Severn Bridge. You no longer have to pay to get in, so we're seeing already workforce that's now finding South Wales a far more attractive area to find itself. Thank you.
Yeah, hi Michael, Richard Jeffers from Glide. I've just come back from a number of years in Singapore where normal life for us is either a 1 gig or a 10 gig connection at home. That's not relevant to what I'm about to say. What is have you looked at benchmarking against the New Zealand government's economic model of digital inclusion in rural, where farmers in New Zealand and rural principal small cities where gigabit connections are just standard now?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've been able to do in recent years is provide connectivity to 95% of all premises across the whole of Wales, and that's been a real struggle. And obviously there's similar lessons for both New Zealand and Australia. What we are in the process... Sorry? No, but as far as rural access and connectivity... Yeah, where we're at the moment in trying to find and satisfy that final 5% in Wales is we are in the throes of rolling out and connectivity to all of those outstanding final 5%. So that's going to get mopped up and covered as well. We're working very closely with sectors like agri-tech. We're in the throes of throwing together a centre of excellence for IoT activities and various other technologies for those sectors. So we are very much concentrating on trying to improve the digital infrastructure and the digital exploitation of all of these various different stakeholders. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Michael.